Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This time around we're going to be looking at my Game Boy collection. The first game that I'm going to have here is KYO. This is actually the Japanese version of the game that I got back in like 2018 or something, in 2019 in Michigan. I think it was 2019, or maybe even beginning of 2020, I forget the exact time, but it's a complete game. It's pretty nice. It has a I guess Japanese style of boxing. It does have the manual and a game in there. It's pretty nice. I don't have a protective cover for this yet because it's just like an odd shaped box, but I do keep it in the wrap that it came in, so that keeps it fairly safe for the most part. So let's look at the next game. So the next thing that we have here is Medal of Honor Infiltrator. As you can see, 7+. This game is a European version of it. When I ordered this on Amazon, I didn't realize that, but it works on my Game Boy, so I really don't mind. It looks nice. The box was in like really good condition. It comes with the manual and everything, so really glad to have this. I used to play this back in the day, so and I still put it in here and there. Next, we have Dark Arena. This game I actually picked up fairly recently. I think it was one of my recent pickup videos. It's a pretty good looking FPS game compared to like some of the other games on Game Boy Advance. They actually did a pretty good job on this, and I'm still looking forward to playing this some more when I get a chance. Next item here is Tony Hawk Pro Skater. This one I did in somewhat of a recent video as well for pickup games. This one I got in New Jersey. The first time I went to that GameStop, the retro game store there, I saw it and I had to grab it. So this is the Game Boy Color version, and this video is pretty much generically for all Game Boy games, just because I don't have that many of the Game Boy Color or like anything of that sort. But most of my games are Game Boy Advance. The next item we have here is Frogger's Adventure, Temple of the Frog. This is actually my first complete game, obviously since I was a kid, where you used to buy the complete games in a store, but it's in a pretty decent condition. A little tear here, but nothing crazy. So that concludes the complete games. Now we're gonna jump into a couple, I guess, special games that aren't really considered complete, but they're more like repro type of games. So first we have Resident Evil 2 for the Game Boy. So this was one of those games that they were working on back in the day as like a prototype. They never completed it, and it only like has like a level or something, like the basketball court. So, but they managed to get a port of it, I guess, onto the Game Boys and release it for people to buy. So it's kind of cool, just a neat little thing to have. Next we have Resident Evil for the Game Boy Color. So this is Resident Evil 1. I did try it out. It's kind of cool. It would have been a cool game to play had they actually like released it as a full game, not just like a prototype demo situation that they had, but it's really nice. When I ordered this, it obviously comes with the cover art already printed out in this case, so that's pretty cool. So, and then the next two games that we have here, I'll just do them both together, is Metroid Fusion and Metroid Zero Mission. These are kind of like the same thing. They're essentially just ports, repros. I think it's like games that either didn't release in the US or something along those lines. That's usually what they do with these type of games. They re-release them for the American audience, and you can get them in these cases. They're pretty cool, pretty well made. Obviously it's just like a DS style case, but they print out the artwork for you and everything, then they have the custom cartridge, so pretty neat to have. I did play one of these. I think it might have been the Zero Mission. Made some decent progress in it. So now we're gonna get into the games that are not complete, but I do have them in a case, custom case at least. So first here we have Driver 2. So this is, I think, just a game. Yeah, here we just have the game, no manual for this one. It's a pretty decent 3D looking game for the Game Boy. Not as good as Driver 3 on a Game Boy, but it's kind of interesting when they try to do these kind of 3D games on a Game Boy and really like push the limits of the device. Obviously, it was very weak compared to the other consoles and whatnot, so it's always interesting to see what they can accomplish. Next, we have Pokemon Emerald version. So this one, I should have a manual in here as well. Yep, right here. So this one is my original one from back in the day. When I was younger, I used to play this all the time. I don't have as many Pokemon on here as I used to because I think I traded a few of them into Pokemon Diamond when I used to play that back in the day. But I still have a good chunk of them. I used to duplicate some of the Pokemon as well at the Battle Frontier. Next we have Mario Kart Super Circuit. So this one does not have a manual. This is not my original one. I did order this one again. I used to have it back in the day. I don't know what happened to it, but it's a really fun game. It's actually really well made, probably one of the best games for the Game Boy Advance in my opinion. So definitely glad to have this. Then we have Max Payne. This port for the Game Boy Advance is also very well done. I don't have the manual for it, but because I used to have this game before, and as mentioned, like, I don't know if I sold some games or what happened, maybe they got lost, but this is one of those games I ended up buying again because I pretty much have it for PS2, PC, Game Boy, on my phone. Like, it's one of my favorite games, so definitely nice to have this one. The next item here is Super Mario World. This game is pretty fun. Obviously, it's one of those games that I think was out on a number of consoles, and originally it might have been like, I know there was like Super Mario in old consoles in the past, if I remember correctly, but this is like a Game Boy Advance port of it. I don't know the full history of that, but I did play it a decent amount. I think this is my original one. I don't know if I ever had it in a box, but when I bought it at GameStop, this is the one that I had from years ago. So then we have Spider-Man Marvelous Menace, or Mysterious Menace, Marvelous. This one's just a game as well. No manual for this one. It's really nice cover, as you can see. The game itself plays well. It's not a recent, it's been a few years since I got this, but it is somewhat of a newer game that in my collection. I don't think I've ever played this one in the past when I was younger, so. And for any of you guys that are interested in these like cases and cover art for your retro games, like Game Boy games and stuff, I'll post a link in the description if you guys want to go check out the website where I got these. So next we have Spyro 2, Seasons Aflame. I did used to have a few Spyro games, I think including this one back in the day. Got rid of it at some point and then picked this up back when I was at Penn State at a retro game store that they had there. So it's a pretty fun game, a decent port for the Game Boy. I don't know if it necessarily had the best ratings, but in my opinion it was a pretty good port. Then we have Zelda 4 Swords, A Link to the Past, and 4 Swords. 4 Swords is, I think, just like a multiplayer thing, so it's kind of useless, but The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, obviously it's original game from SNES, ported onto the Game Boy, and it's actually not in the case right now because it's in my Game Boy, but yeah, I have this as well. And the final game that's in the case here is Medal of Honor Underground. Definitely not the best FPS port of a game for the Game Boy. It's actually horrendous in textures and how the textures in the walls don't line up, and just too many of the same colors and whatnot. Would have almost been better if they either created this similar to how the Infiltrator was, which was more like top down, or if they maybe got more experience or waited later in the cycle to develop it when they got more familiar with Game Boy, because there's obviously other games like Doom and stuff that look much better, so they could have definitely done this a better way. But anyways, okay guys, so now we're gonna jump into the loose games. So some of these I have these little protector covers for, some of them I don't. First one that we have here is it's kind of hard to see through this, but SpongeBob Squarepants. So it's a pretty decent shape. The artwork on it is good and everything, not really damaged or anything. either this one or another one. One of these I have a manual for from back in the day when I used to own them. I used to own like 2 different SpongeBob games for the Game Boy, and they were pretty fun. And at some point I sold, I think, both of them, but pretty happy I picked them back up. Honestly, if I found a complete of this game, I would pick it up. I might even have to see online how much they are, but I personally think they're pretty fun games. What else do I have here? I actually have a loose case, one of these for one of the games that I could put it in. I think I have Mortal Kombat, which isn't in there, but so here we have Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. This one I used to play the crap out of when I was younger. I have it for the PS1 as well, but the Game Boy ports of it were really fun as well. I really enjoyed them. They're definitely a lot different, but still good games. Then we have Dragon Ball Z. This one I didn't really play much. I did start it a little bit. It's sort of like an RPG type of game, but yeah, I think I kept dying or something in it, and just didn't really have the time when I was at school to go that far in it. So let's get this one out of the way with. We have Mortal Kombat Advanced here. It's a pretty decent port of the Mortal Kombat game for the Game Boy. I think it's like, well, it's not really a port. I think it's like specifically made for the Game Boy. But it's a pretty good selection of characters you can choose and whatnot, so I find it a lot of fun. I used to play it a lot more when I was younger, but haven't really touched it lately. So the next one we have here is Need for Speed Most Wanted. This one's pretty decent on the Game Boy. Obviously Game Boy is limited, but to like the performance of the games and how much they can put in there, but this one actually looks pretty good. Definitely looks much better than Medal of Honor Underground, for example. It's actually like playable. I think it still lives up to this day. Like, I think most people would still be able to play it nowadays. So then we have Tony Hawk Downhill Jam. This is one of those games I never really owned when I was younger, but I think I saw it at a retro game store, and being a fan of Tony Hawk games and skateboarding, I decided to pick it up. Not really too much to say. I tried it for a little bit. It works. So the next item we have here is Harry Potter, and I think this is the Goblet of Fire one. This one I don't think I've ever owned Goblet of Fire for PlayStation or anything like that, even though obviously I have the PlayStation and other consoles. But I actually really enjoyed this game on the Game Boy. The dancing challenges and some of the challenges where you had to like press the different buttons were really fun and enjoyable, and it was a lot different than like the Sorcerer's Stone and some of the other older games that they made for the Game Boy, so it's a really pretty good game in my opinion. Okay guys, so the next game that we have on our list here is the Super Mario Brothers. This one is just a classic NES version, which I think most of you have played that are watching this video, or at least heard of it, so not really much to say about this one. It is one that I've had for a while though. So the next thing that we have here is Ultimate Spider-Man. This is one of the ones that I have a manual for, but I don't have a case for it yet. I'll try to get one of those custom ones probably, unless I see it somewhere as a complete, but highly unlikely. It's kind of hard to come by Game Boy games that are complete right now, at least unless you like really start searching on eBay, and you might be paying some higher prices on there. But then we have Lord of the Rings. This one's actually pretty fun. It's like a RPG style game. I kind of randomly picked this up when I was at the game store at Penn State and tried it out. I was surprised by it. I didn't really know what to expect when I jumped into it, but pretty decent game. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, another game that I have on PlayStation, but really enjoyed the Game Boy Advance version of it. Pretty fun. Has a little bit of a different feel to it compared to like the Sorcerers of Stone one, or even like the other ones in general, but pretty fun overall still. To close out the Harry Potter games, I think they should be the last one. We have Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. This one's actually very different than the rest because this one is an RPG style game where you like encounter an enemy and you pretty much battle them in like a turn-based style attack, similar to like the old like RPG games, like if you play Final Fantasy or anything of that sort. Then we have Batman Begins. This one I had originally. I actually got it like when I was younger. My parents got it for me at Costco. Or not Costco, Best Buy. I remember that. But I actually picked this one up more recently. Just another one of those games I must have sold at some point or traded or whatever happened to it. But here it is. It's a pretty good game. Here we have Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. I love this one. It's probably one of my favorite Tony Hawk games. Not necessarily the Game Boy port, but the Pro Skater 2. But I do have this for PS1. I have like the 1 and 2 remake for PS4. But I actually enjoyed this one. This one's pretty decently done for the Game Boy. Much better than like the Downhill Jam and some of the other stuff that came on later on, I think. But pretty good game. Then we have Sean Palmer's Pro Snowboarder. Not sure why I got this one. It must have either came in like some sort of a mystery package that I ordered, or maybe I just picked it up because it was so cheap and figured why not try it. One of those two reasons, so can't really say much about it. I don't think I've tried it yet. Then we have Tom and Jerry game. This one was pretty fun. I actually played a decent amount of it. This is one of those games where you had like a code you had to put in and you unlock a new code after every level. That was like their method of kind of jumping to where you left off from. So and then we have this Backyard Sports. This I think I picked up somewhere, probably at the Penn State store for cheap, or maybe I don't remember the exact place I got it from, but it's all right. Nothing too crazy. Fun little like cartoony game. So then we have the Polar Express. I do have a manual for this one as well. The manual is the original from when I got it when I was younger, but the game I picked up more recently just because I was nostalgic on the game and I liked the movie. So managed to pick it up, I think, from Amazon. So pretty fun game. Then we have this Beach Bandit whatever game. This game, I don't think I ordered this one. What happened was I ordered like a DS game or something. I think it was Touch the Dead or something like that for the original DS. A first person like shooter on rail type of game for like a horror game for original DS. And this was just happened to be in the case because the DS cases used to have that spot where you can put a Game Boy game. So pretty much got 2 games in one out of that. Then here's the other SpongeBob game. I think this is actually the one that I have the book for, the camera lights action one or whatever that it is. But yeah, pretty fun game. I think you get to play as multiple characters in that one. Then we have Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. I don't think I've ever beaten this one, but I did play a decent amount of it. I do have the manual for it as well. It's pretty good condition still. Now our last Game Boy Advance game is Spiderman II. This is actually my oldest Game Boy game. This is the one that I got when I was still in Russia and my parents came to get me. It's just one of those games that, because I loved Spider-Man, so they got it for me back in the day when Spider-Man came out, and yeah, I've had it ever since. Used to play a lot of it, like the game like all the time, especially being like one of the few games I had. So then we have Pokemon Special Pikachu Edition. Pretty good condition for the Game Boy here. We have GTA 2 for Game Boy Color. And then to conclude this collection here, we have Grand Theft Auto 1 for the OG Game Boy. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll be looking forward to seeing your feedback. I'll try to do more of these kind of videos. Obviously for other consoles like PlayStation 2 and stuff, it's hard to get all the games. The video would be way too long, so I'll try to figure out if I want to do one of those collections or maybe choose like a specific game that I'm really interested in. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, thanks guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.